Greater Manchester Police still cannot accept the fact that they are completely inept after Chief Constable Stephen Watson has said the force was borderline incompetent in the way that it dealt with grooming gangs in the past. Borderline is not what I would call ignoring allegations, taking a decade to convict 9 men out of 800 and more identified suspects, failing to follow up on intelligence or taking simply no action on intelligence, and simply allowing mainly Muslim grooming gangs to go on abusing children at will, in some cases with your full knowledge and by not taking action indirectly with your approval. That, sir, is not borderline incompetence. In fact, I don't think I have the educational level to think of words to call that without using vulgarities. Last week, Greater Manchester Police paid out what's described as substantial damages to just 3 women who were victims of the abuse. The 3 women were backed by lawyers from the Centre for Women's Justice who claimed from the early 2000s there was growing evidence from multiple allegations that gangs of predominantly Asian men were grooming, trafficking and sexually abusing predominantly white working class girls in Rochdale. Watson said in an interview, "The bottom line is we've failed children in the past. We simply did. There is no beating around the bush. I don't think people did it out of a sense of badness. I don't think people did it because they were incompetent." No, of course they were not incompetent. But I think organisationally we were borderline incompetent in the sense that we just didn't do things then that we absolutely do now. Okay, Watson, I'll tell you what. We'll all wait for the other 800 or so identified grooming gang members to be locked up before we judge you on that particular statement, shall we? Now, although Watson wasn't in control during the time of the grooming gangs investigations, although I don't doubt for a minute there's still countless going on in the background at the moment, he did take over in 2021 from a chief constable who did fail hundreds, if not thousands of young girls. And to be honest, from my perspective, Watson hasn't exactly taken over and changed anything. The majority of the accused are still walking the streets, allowed to interact with and no doubt continue to abuse children. So Watson's backhanded bullcrap, "we could have done better but it wasn't our fault" apology means nothing to the good, honest and decent people of this country who watched how Greater Manchester Police failed and allowed countless of innocent children's lives to be ruined while doing nothing about it. And even when a new chief constable takes over, only 3 women have been apologised to and compensated for. As if you think that will be enough. It won't be, and it isn't enough. We only have to look as far as Maggie Oliver, a Greater Manchester Police detective constable who resigned and turned whistleblower over the treatment of victims by Greater Manchester Police. There were even people found guilty of the abuse who were ordered to have been deported and who are still in the country, laughing, mingling with people's children. With so much talk and rhetoric from the police and government about protecting women and girls, one would assume that grooming gang offenders would be a priority, not men staring at women on trains or offending someone because they called a blackboard a blackboard. Greater Manchester Police are said to have created a new unit to investigate child sex grooming gangs in Greater Manchester. This new unit is said to have 3 major investigations into historic abuse already active, and that the unit has identified more than 800 offenders. So as I say before, personally, I'll reserve my judgment until I see these people appear in court for their crimes. But until then, no matter what you say, Greater Manchester Police is entirely incompetent with literally no idea what's happening in the real world. There used to be a time when police call handlers would tell callers that what they're reporting is a non-crime and police can't get involved. It seems that that line is now saved for the most serious of criminal offences and instead welcome with no arms the opportunity to get themselves involved in a civil matter or freedom of speech offence. It's going to take a lot more than a half-hearted "we failed but it wasn't our fault" apology to get people back on side and for people to put their trust back in the police force. Big thank you to channel supporters, especially these guys. Your support is truly appreciated. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, as I know many of you will. And until next time, stay safe, look after each other, film the police and other officials.